Hi, and welcome to another fantastic show of What's Cooking. I'm your host today, Joey Quibido with Piggly Wiggly here in Opelousas.
And I'm Chef Jason Hugate from the Steamboat Warehouse in Washington, Louisiana. And today we have some very special guests, no strangers to the show. We have the brothers Peter and Gino from Ruffino's in Baton Rouge. Guys, last show we had, you did some wonderful dishes. What we're going to have today?
Well, today we have, I hope it's going to be equally as good. We're going to start out with kind of a Southern classic, shrimp and grits, but we're going to do it Ruffino style. So it's going to be a little bit different twist to it.
Right, and then we're doing a crawfish Maria. And this was a dish that our father came up with many, many years ago. And it's crawfish in a cream sauce, and we toss it with fettuccine.
Sounds great. Yeah. So join us back for more What's Cooking in just a few minutes.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. I'm kind of excited to see what the next dish is going to look like. So how do we begin, Gino?
All right, well, first I'm going to start with the sauce. So I have some olive oil in the pan getting hot, and I have some tasso. Tasso is a really wonderful, it's kind of like a peppery ham. It's cured. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to render that. I want to pull all the flavor out of that, okay, to get into the oil.
But, you know, I think if you don't have tasso, any kind of smoked pork product would be good. We've used some diced andouille before. Bacon works great in this. Even just regular ham if you know.
If you got a substitute.
Right.
Right. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some onions. I'm going to sweat that down. I'll tell you what, while I'm sweating this down, I just wanted to tell you all about some of the things that we do offer at Ruffino's. We actually have a cooking class that we do. We do 11 months out the year. We don't do it in December because we're just so busy, you know, with parties and all. And it's a different theme every month. And we offer it on Mondays and Tuesday nights. You know, we do 1 week out the month. And it is just, it's great. We have usually 5 courses, and we also pair them with a wine.
Okay.
So a lot of the people that come to it say it's a great date night, you know, because they get away, you know, they get babysitter. The couples can come out, enjoy a great meal, get a little entertainment, and then also some wines.
And then 5 courses. That's a good date night.
Oh yeah. I know. All right, so I'll let my onions sweat a little bit. So now I'm going to go ahead and add my garlic, and we get
staple
that
item.
What's that?
That garlic is staple item.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Again, remind everybody at home, Gino, I mean, what are y'all hours of operation and stuff there at Ruffino's?
Well, we're mostly do dinner. So it's Monday through Thursday, 4:30 to 10. We open for lunch on Friday, and we go all the way through till 11 o'clock at night. Saturday, again, it's only dinner only, 4:30 to 11. And then Sunday, we're open for lunch. We do a brunch. And we start at 11, and then we close at 10. And I'll tell you, on our brunch on Sunday, we have what we always tease is the best deal in town. We have lobster. We do 1.5 pound lobster for $19.
Wow.
I mean, that's
cheap.
Yeah, you can't beat that deal.
Fantastic.
No,
So you just want to make sure you call and reserve those lobsters because they go quick.
They do go quick.
I don't think you can get it that cheap in Maine.
All right, so now I got all that sweating down. I'm going to go ahead and throw in my shrimp.
And you know, we love those big, beautiful Louisiana shrimp.
So is that like a 21-25 count?
That's a 16-20.
16-20,
sure.
okay. One notch off.
You eat with your eyes first.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, they cook better, they taste better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They look better. I mean, they just...
And one of the things, too, when we get our shrimp, we get chem-free. You know, because a lot of times what they'll do is they'll put chemicals in it when they freeze it. And,
Right.
And we go ahead and order ours with no chemical.
Yeah.
So while that's cooking down, I'm going to go ahead and I'm adding my tomatoes.
Again, that's a tomato concasse where we peeled, seeded, and diced the tomatoes.
All right.
Because if not, you're going to have that tomato peel that's going to separate and float
Yeah,
all over the
right.
sauce.
That's aggravating.
That's aggravating more than anything, you're right.
Nobody likes a big peel in their mouth.
Yeah. I got some white wine. Deglaze my pan with that.
And pretty much any kind of white wine will do. Normally, what I like to do when I'm at home is maybe whatever white wine I might have opened the day before or so, and if I haven't drank the whole bottle, well then I'll just stick it in the fridge and I'll use that to cook with.
Okay, so it don't matter if it's a Chablis or Chardonnay or something.
Right, just want something that's going to be dry.
Dry, okay.
Got to make use of you.
Yeah, because you're adding just a little structure to the sauce because we're going to add some cream to this, and if we didn't add the wine and just added the cream, the sauce would be kind of flabby.
Right. Right.
So you want to add something like wine or lemon juice or vinegar to add some structure to it.
Well, I know Jason likes a Pinot Grigio, so
I'm a Pinot Grigio man. I love the wines.
So next, I got some fresh thyme. Add that to it. We have a Creole seasoning.
so far so good. Very
So you can see it's a really easy dish. Those shrimp are almost completely pink now, so they're just about done.
And also what I'm going to do too is when I put my heavy cream in, I'm going to reduce it. You just don't want to overcook your shrimp then, okay?
Right.
So you don't want to just let it keep cooking for too long because then you can start to get a little rubbery.
Right. That's like the worst mistake you can make in this dish is just overcooking your shrimp.
We get a guy that comes to our restaurant quite often, and he orders his red snapper medium rare every time.
Right.
And I do it. The man wants, the man gets.
I like
That's
this.
right.
What we talked about when the shrimp overcooked, it just makes it too rubbery and it just you
Chewy.
lose all the
Yeah.
everything about it.
Sure,
And
definitely.
I mean, you can tell we're spending a lot of money trying to buy the best product. We want to really show the product off
That's right,
in the
yeah.
best possible
Yeah,
way.
speak
So we
for
don't want to
yourself.
overcook them.
Right. So now, like I said, because when I put my cream in, the shrimp will almost finish cooking. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce my cream just to give it a little thickness.
Okay.
So by that time, the shrimp will
Perfect,
cook just
perfect,
perfect.
While you do that, why don't we go ahead and mention to everybody at home that if you want some of the fresh ingredients that they're using here today, you can go by your local Piggly Wiggly stores here in Opelousas, 8410 Highway 182 North, or
Hello, 1305 Heather Drive.
or
Or 16229 Highway 1,
Simmsport.
Simmsport, Louisiana.
very good. We've had
My
trouble
first time was
remembering
good.
those numbers, but
I'll never forget it now.
because of what I call it's like, wait, that's too many numbers for
Edit
us.
that part out of the show. Because I made
So come by either Piggly Wiggly store, especially in Opelousas or the Simmsport, pick up all your nice ingredients that they are using here today. Hopefully we have everything in stock. We try to, after each show, try to make sure we have these special ingredients in stock. Sometimes we can, sometimes we can't. It happens that way. But we really try hard.
Well, it's not always, what people don't understand is like if I'm out of something or if you're out of something, it's not always because you just don't have it. A lot of times, we have deliveries and we're human. Everybody's
Warehouse
human.
is out.
Sometimes, the people you get your stuff from, they're out or
Right.
they're short on the truck or something. So
That's right.
always
So,
keep an open mind.
it's not that we don't try our best to try to get in there. Just that's the way things happen. Like cold weather or something, or hurricanes, snowstorms, actually stops everybody from actually working.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so now I got my cream reduced a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and melt my butter. And again, you don't want to just throw your butter in there and just melt it. So you want to mix it up so it's emulsified. Okay?
Otherwise, you're going to get a big oil slick on top of your sauce.
Okay, I understand. Yeah. Okay, well, we're gonna go ahead and let the butter cook, y'all. We're gonna take a real quick break, and we're gonna come back for more What's Cooking in just a few minutes. Hey, welcome back to the What's Cooking Show. We're with the great brothers here today from Ruffino's in Baton Rouge, Gino and Peter, and they have some more wonderful dishes going for us today. Guys, what's next?
Well, so Gino made the sauce for the shrimp and grits. Now, I'm going to make the grits, but we're going to make them Italian style, and we're going to use polenta. So what I have in my pot here is a little chicken stock, and we're going to add some heavy cream to it. So we're just going to let that come back to a boil. Now, I don't know if they eat a lot of polenta around this part, but it's really easy, and it's just like grits. It's going to use some cornmeal, and we're just going to blend that into the chicken stock and cream, just like you would make regular grits. But then we're going to add a secret ingredient. In fact, I learned this from a demo that one of these celebrity chefs out in California showed me. His name's Michael Chiarello. And we're going to add some semolina along with the cornmeal. So semolina is that flour that they use to make pasta, but it's going to make it really smooth and creamy, and it makes just a
It's not a
makes
secret
just a
anymore,
wonderful dish. So a lot of times what people like to ask me is about how Ruffino's got started. So we're 14 years old, and actually we got started by a kind of famous restaurateur in Baton Rouge. His name's T.J. Moran. He had Ruth's Chris. He had about
TJ's
10 Ruth's
Ribs.
Chris, T.J. Ribs, and Ninfa's in Baton Rouge. And his son Burke, who was running T.J. Ribs at the time 14 years ago, when Jerry DiNardo was coaching LSU, was like, Dad, we ought to do an Italian restaurant. Maybe Jerry DiNardo will partner with us, and that's what they did. So they hired myself as a New Orleans Italian chef, and they hired Ruffin Rodrigue, who played football for LSU along with his dad, who played football there as well, hired us to run the restaurant. Well, it's no secret that after a couple of years, Jerry wasn't winning so many games. And when Jerry finally left, Ruffin and I were able to buy his portion. And then we changed the name to Ruffino's, kind of after Ruffin's name. So
That's basically how the name.
yeah, and then just recently, about 2.5 years ago, Ruffin and I were able to buy it from TJ. So now he and I own it together.
Oh, fantastic!
But
Great.
so we've got the cream and the chicken stock here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some of this cornmeal and we're going to go ahead and just blend it in to our heavy cream, just a little bit at a time. And then in just a second, that's going to start to thicken up really nicely. And then we're also going to take an equal amount of semolina flour. And we're going to go ahead and blend that in as well.
Now, what's the difference between semolina flour and, let's say, just regular flour?
Well, it's the way that it's ground. It's kind of made from a different sort of wheat. It's a hard durum wheat, but it's ground pretty fine, but not like powdery fine. But it's great when we make fresh pasta at the restaurant. This is what we use, or we'll use a blend of semolina and regular flour.
It's kind of like
Oh,
a
okay.
cream meal grind, basically, I would say.
Right.
Cornmeal. That's neat.
And so that'll come up and begin to thicken in just a
Looking like it's
second.
thickening now.
You
Yeah.
can tell it's sticking in
It
already.
will, and we like to say when it looks like lava, that's how you know it's getting ready, because when it thickens, it starts to thicken really quickly. And now there's different kinds of polenta. So if you add a little bit less stock and cream, you can make this nice thick polenta that you could put out on a baking sheet and then even cut into shapes.
Refrigerate it and cut
yeah,
it.
and then you can
Cookie
kind
cutter.
of fry it and make little polenta cakes. But we
like
want
'em grilled.
something creamier. So we add a little bit more stock to this. So you can see it's nice and creamy and thick. Will you turn me down just a little bit? So now we're going to add a couple of different kinds of cheese. So here I have some Parmigiano Reggiano cheese, which to me is sort of the king of Italian cheeses. And we've got some Fontina. It's a great melting cheese. It's you can grate it and it'll go in here and melt really well. To flavor this, we have a little bit of nutmeg. That's kind of traditional for polenta. We've got a little bit of white pepper, just because the black pepper would kind of leave little specks
Yeah.
in here. Then we're going to add a touch of salt,
The good salt.
the good salt, my Malden salt. And then what I like to finish this with, so a lot of times now you could add a piece of butter to this and finish it with butter. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some mascarpone cheese. So mascarpone is the Italians' answer to cream cheese. So really good. You can actually turn it off for me now. And we're just going to blend that mascarpone in. So now we have this nice, rich, creamy polenta. And now it will thicken even more upon standing, just like regular grits do.
Right, definitely.
But you can see how smooth it is, and wait till you try it. It's I know this sounds kind of funny, but it's less gritty than regular grits
Yeah.
are, and that's what I really like about it. And this is going to be a great way to sop up this wonderful sauce that Gino has. So we're going to add a little bit of the grits here, and like I
Real
said, it's
smooth.
going to really smooth and creamy, and it's going to thicken a little bit as it cools off. And then Gino can finish the rest of the sauce.
Dudes, I'm just going to go ahead and layer some shrimp across it. Try to get a little bit of that tasso.
And you know, that tasso cream sauce with shrimp, it's just kind of so classic, those flavors.
It does, yeah.
I do a shrimp and tasso cream sauce myself.
Easy enough. Fantastic.
Pretty shrimp.
Beautiful
Yeah,
dish. Yeah, really beautiful. In fact, if you want to copy this recipe that Gino and Peter are doing for us today, you can go to our website at kdcg.com and click on the What's Cooking show and go to the recipe archives.
You can go to archives and check it out. I think Gino has a few other recipes.
Also, go to be shown on YouTube. Sooner or later, they'll put everything on YouTube and stuff. And if you want to get a hold of the guys over there in Baton Rouge, what's the number, guys?
It's 225-753-3458.
Or you can come by at what location?
We're at 18811 Highland Road, So we're in Baton Rouge between I-10 and Airline Highway, close to Blue Bayou Water Park, which kind of a landmark everybody sees on the
Everybody
I-10.
knows where that's at.
Yeah, everybody knows where that. So if you want a wonderful Italian meal at night or Sunday brunch, whatever, you can go by and see the guys over there, and they'll be glad to take very good care of you. And we want to ask you all to join us back for the last segment of What's Cooking in just a few minutes.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. We're here again with the almost twin brothers.
I don't know about that.
They were kind of squirrels together.
That's why I get them confused. But we're doing our last dish. And again, I'm very excited to see what it is. You've done so many good things for us lately. So how do we begin our last dish?
All right, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and melt my butter. And this dish is what we call it is crawfish Maria. This was a dish my father came up with in New Orleans many years ago at our restaurant. And it was always a really, really popular dish. And not only is it great with it, today we're going to toss it with fettuccine, but you can also put this over fish. If you want. So it's a nice cream sauce. So what I'm doing, like I said, get my butter melted. And then I'm going to take in, I got some diced onions.
So we like to call this a Creole cream sauce because it's going to have the Trinity in there. We're going to thicken it with a little roux, add some heavy cream. And so like Gino said, it's good not just on pasta, but on fish, on top of crawfish cakes. We do that sometimes. Anytime you want a good crawfish sauce, this will work.
Throw some of that 1995 lobster in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Then I got some celery, some red bell pepper.
Again, we like the red really for the color,
Really
even more than the
colorful,
flavor, but it's going to look really nice in the sauce.
But even though the red has got a nice
Oh, the
sweet
red
taste.
does,
Yes.
So I'm going to sweat my onions and I'm going to sweat all my vegetables down. That cook. Usually I would let this cook for about 5 minutes.
Again, you're not really looking for any color on the onions, so we're not trying to caramelize them. We're just trying to
Put a flavor out of them.
pull a little flavor out of them, soften them up a little bit.
Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my garlic.
Because we can't cook anything without garlic.
That's right.
It's one of my favorites.
It's just
If you've
not the
ever
same
watched
without
our show,
garlic.
I have plenty of favorite things, like as far as food goes. But garlic's one of the top. Jumbo lump.
Yeah.
I think that's everyone's favorite, though.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to add my flour. And again, I'm done making a blonde roux. So all I want to do is just cook the flour taste out, so that way it'll just bind it. I don't want to give the flour any color or anything like that.
And we're using pretty much equal parts flour and butter.
Correct. And if you didn't want to use butter, you could use margarine or you could use any kind of oil.
Except I think life's too short. Go ahead and use butter.
Yeah.
Why not?
And margarine's not as good for you as people think it is.
That's right.
What is it that the insects won't even eat?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that tells you something.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to I have some crawfish stock that we have.
So what we like to do is after a good crawfish boil, just save those heads.
Yes, that's the best.
Put them in the water.
Just the color that has, you can tell that's like a homemade stock.
Okay. And I'm just going to mix it. I'm just going to get to come together. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some white wine.
You know it.
Again, and we talked about that with the last dish with the shrimp and grits. That wine's going to add a little structure to the sauce. Again, we don't want it to taste flabby.
Okay.
Pretty color on it already.
Oh, yeah. So now I'm going to do is I have a bay leaf. I have some oregano, some fresh thyme. I'm going to add some basil. So really give it some really distinct flavors with those herbs. And then what I'm going to do is turn it down just a little bit.
And I think Gino talked about the cooking classes we do. And one tip we give people for cooking classes, if you want to go cook with fresh herbs, a lot of times when you go to the store and you buy the little pack of fresh herbs, you can almost get a little herb plant for almost the same price. You can go and cut off what you need for that night.
Yeah.
And
You'll always
we
have
it.
plant them, and hey, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But
all right, so next I'm going to do is I'm going to add some white pepper, some cayenne pepper, and a little black pepper. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in. I have some heavy cream.
That little pepper meal is neat.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Wow, that's simple enough.
And then I'm gonna add some Creole seasoning to it. And again, this is gonna give it a little color and a little bit more flavor.
Because a lot of times what you're looking at for the Creole seasoning is adding a little bit of salt too, because a lot of Creole seasonings have a good bit of salt in them.
Yes.
So you just want to watch how much salt you.
All right.
Yeah.
You can see it's starting to turn a little orangish color.
Yes.
Right.
Already, you haven't had the
then
crawfish yet.
Yeah,
Then I got
and then
my
the fat from the
crawfish, yeah,
crawfish.
Pretty Louisiana crawfish.
Oh,
stand.
yeah.
Yeah. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some green onions and some chopped parsley.
Again, another really simple, sauce to
Fan,
prepare.
fast.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
fast, quick, easy.
And then so what I did was I have that pasta, and we're using some fettuccine today. So we just put it in some hot water. And then we're going to put that in this bowl here so we can mix it.
Very good.
And then we'll let Gina put some
That's
of this.
fast.
Our big ladle again.
Yeah.
It took you less time to make the sauce
Yeah.
than to put it in the bowl.
Oh, it's smelling wonderful over here, Jason. I know you maybe not just be able to smell it over there, but
Oh, I can smell it.
it's smelling good over here.
And you know, what we like to say, especially like in our cooking classes, what we'll talk about is, now you could take this base sauce, which is really like a velouté in French cuisine, where you have a kind of a white stock thickened with a roux, and then add a little cream to it. So if you had a crab boil, you could take those crab shells and make crab stock, and do the same thing with
Just
some
play
great
with it,
jumbo lump crab
experiment.
meat. And
You can experiment with that sauce. You can put
you
that
want
over
to-
chicken
right, if
breast.
you want-
or
right.
whatever.
I mean, we've talked about chicken ribeyes, it's a nice T-bone, big porterhouse.
Even a little pork chop. I mean,
Yeah.
And what we like to
little
do
white
where we're
wine.
from is we do something called panade veal, where we'll take those veal cutlets, pound
Yes.
them out, bread them, and fry them a little bit. So instead of fettuccine Alfredo, what would be better than this crawfish dish with fettuccine?
Oh, delicious, I'm sure. Again, guys,
You're
tell
great.
everybody at home where you're located and the phone number can be
Okay,
reached.
we're in Baton Rouge on Highland Road, between I-10 and Airline Highway, and our phone number is 225-753-3458. We'd love to have you come join us.
Please do so, and I'm sure they'll take very good care of you. And thank you all again for coming and do the show with us again, 2 weeks in a row, and we appreciate it very much, and welcome back anytime. And if y'all like to do a show for us here at home, you don't have to be a professional chef like these guys are. Just come by the station at KDCG and talk to Miss Kathy up front, or you can call the
Email
station
her.
or email me or Jason or the TV station itself and set up a time and appointment to where we can do a nice cooking show with y'all. We'd love to see anybody's recipes at any time. And again, guys, thank y'all so much for coming, and hope to see y'all again soon.
It was
Y'all
our
take
pleasure.
care.
Thanks
Take
for
care.
having us.
Thanks for
Thank
having
y'all.
us.
Next
Thank
time
you.
we
Appreciate it.
Next time Joey will wear a different shirt for you.
Yeah.
And thank y'all so much for watching the What's Cooking Show, and join us back for next week when I have another exciting guest coming. So we'll see you next week.
You're watching KDCG, uniquely Acadiana, a Delta Media station.